Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 11th Design Thinking and User Experience Summit organized by Singapore Polytechnic. We are so glad to have with us not just participants from Singapore, but also those from our overseas network of universities, Learning Express partners, and other organizations. If we were at the previous editions of this seminar, I will be giving you the greeting in person. You would have been able to take a walk around our 38-hectare campus and see the lush greenery. You could be walking by some of our 14,000 odd students, representing about 12% of the birth cohorts of the country. You could bump into the 3,000 odd working adults attending courses of various lengths, some customized for specific companies. You might be able even to witness some of our students working on projects commissioned by various companies or being recruited as interns or prospective employees. You could also visit some of our research centers, which we have set up to serve various industry partners. At our research centers, we work on projects with various enterprises to help them to transform their businesses for this digital age in various areas, such as business innovation, human resource management, user experience design, food innovation, and even energy and chemicals. Indeed, had you been on campus, you would all be able to witness how SP sought to be relevant to industry. By being relevant to industry, we not only fulfill our mission to train our students to be relevant, helping industry transform itself is also part of our mission to help Singapore transform. Well, although we are conducting this seminar virtually today and unable to have all this physical interaction, we are nevertheless committed to continue to be relevant to industry. That is why, later today, we have arranged for virtual sessions for my colleagues from various centers. You can meet up with our colleagues virtually, and we can all explore areas of collaboration together. The theme of this year's conference is harnessing the power of digitalization and storytelling to redesign the user experience in a disrupted world. I would like to tell the story of SP's journey of harnessing the power of digitalization to redesign and transform the user experience of our students. Most of us here today will recall going through the lecture tutorial format common in most institutes of higher learning. As a student, we started our learning journey by attending lectures where we sat quietly among dozens or hundreds of others, listening to one person downloading information to us. Then we went on to tutorials in smaller groups. There was more interaction there, but usually between the tutor and the student. About 5 years ago, 2 of our 10 schools in Singapore Polytechnic started experimenting with flipped learning. It is a student-centered approach to education. Instead of going to a lecture hall for their lectures, students access their lectures online at their own time, wherever they choose to be. This enhanced the student experience by giving them greater flexibility in their time management. Those who needed it could choose to listen to the lectures multiple times. The students had to take responsibility and be more self-directed, rather than being passive, spoon-fed learners. The lectures also became more interactive and engaging. Instead of merely a video of a lecturer speaking, it could incorporate interactive data gathering elements. The students could respond digitally to quizzes posed on the online lectures, and their answers are then processed as data. The data can then be used to help in the design and conduct of the follow-up tutorials. For instance, we could pair a strong student with a weak student in the tutorial. Or perhaps the lecturer can focus on certain topics most students had problems in during the tutorial. It was not easy moving from the pilots in the first two schools to the rest of the Polytechnic. As professionals, we were good at what we were doing and know the positive results from our tried and tested traditional pedagogy. As educators, we were passionate for our students' learning and needed evidence to be convinced before willing to abandon our trusted methods. And the truth was, it took effort to move out of our comfort zones. It took a few years of trials and hypothesis testing before the Polytechnic was confident enough to launch a formal move to convert 15% of a student's curriculum to flipped learning. And this was to be done over a 3-year period up to 2021. Although I was personally convinced and we wanted to move everything at once, I also knew that in education, we need to convince our colleagues before implementing something. Otherwise, they could simply go through the formality and it would be a failure. So I had to be patient and knew that once the ball started rolling, it would pick up speed along the way. Then came COVID. In order to keep safe distance, all lectures were conducted online. It would seem that overnight, my colleagues discovered that they could conduct lectures online and students could still learn effectively. We moved out of our comfort zones and discovered a whole new world of possibilities. Emboldened, we are now hastening our implementation. Come 2022, all our curriculum will be flipped. Digitally enabled, our online lectures will provide the data that will transform the user experience of our students, not only for their lectures, but also for their tutorials. This is a short story of XP's experience of leveraging on digitalization and COVID to redesign the user experience of our students and transform our business model. There will be many more such stories shared today from both the public as well as the private sector, as we have gathered together an eminent panel of speakers, each sharing their stories and perspectives on digitalization and user redesign. I trust they will inspire you and spur you towards your own transformation stories. Have a fruitful and inspiring time today.